What is going on? Kwame here with another video. Trying to pump them out as much as I can. It is super windy outside, so I'm hoping that it doesn't get into the mic. Yeah, I can't find the little wind dampener that goes over the mic, so I'll try and film inside the garage a little bit. But today, as you can see in the title of the video, I have to build a new exhaust, and here's why. At the 2025 Chili Jam event, the car was absolutely slaying. For both the days, I couldn't be happier with it. But halfway through the day, or halfway through the first day, I collected it all. You saw that on my Instagram. I've half repaired it for the meantime. But the exhaust was starting to kind of flap around. I could hear it about halfway underneath the car. I did see that it came off the rear hanger, so I was like, you know, put it back on the hanger. Next lap, came off again. I was like, oh, this is draining. So I saw it came off the middle hanger as well, put it back on the middle hanger, put it back on the rear hanger, and like zip tied it tight so it was really hard up against the body so it couldn't go anywhere. Turns out that the old exhaust that I put on that was quite enough to meet regulations for the event was slightly bent, so it wasn't lining up perfectly. And over the day, getting thrashed along the track, it just eventually like cracked and just got worse and worse and worse until it literally came off and pogoed me into the mud and I couldn't move. I was beached, so I'll show you the damage. Mind the mess. But this is the exhaust that's okay, but this is the exhaust that came off. So it's got cracked at around the muffler, it's cracked at the mount. Oh shit, my head. It got cracked right there. The rear is okay. This is where it's bad. It cracked right off the top, and if I show you, I thought it just came loose in the end. Turns out, it literally snapped clean off of the dump. So, I'm gonna have to weld a new dump. I'm hoping that I can salvage some of it. You know, see how we go. I'm gonna get the car on jack stands and start assessing how I'm gonna do it. I'm hoping I can salvage some of the old exhaust and just cut where it was snapped and re-weld it, but yeah, I have no idea. So let's start attacking it. As we make our way under, you can see here's a couple zip ties left over. Look at this mess. This is a desperate effort to try and keep it on the hanger. Exhaust clamp, freaking rubber and zip ties. So this is kind of where it was leaving a little bit of damage. Nothing too crazy. It did get stuck into my drive shaft though, so oh, it's pretty nasty. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to replace that. That's yucky. I don't want to be drifting on that, unfortunately. Might slap a new boot on it and make sure it's all good. But yeah, definitely split that open. I think the tail shaft didn't get a knock, which is nice. Came off the center rubber, but this is where it all unfolded. So you usually have a bracket that bolts to there. But yes, my dump pipe is nowhere to be seen. I'm gonna have to take the screamer pipe off and then also unravel all this shit and try and see how I go getting it up in there. Got the dump off, as you can see. Let's inspect how bad it is. I really don't want to be touching this fiberglass wrap with my bare hands, but it is what it is. If it's itchy, so be it. Oof. I'll snap this off in a second. But upon closer examination, seems to be okay. As you can see, I don't know how hard it is on video. I don't seem to find any cracks. I might shine a light from the inside and see if there's any cracks, but I think it looks okay. So I might be able to clean up the edge and weld the dump back together which will be elite because I've already got the O2 bung welded in, and you know, obviously this face is in the correct direction. So let's have a look at the broken dump now. Boom, here is the dump. That's where it snapped. You can see there's a crack there and right there as well. I'm not sure how well it's focusing. And a crack there as well. So I'm going to take the rest of this heat tape off and see if there's any more cracks. Oh, shit is nasty. So upon further investigation, I think that it's pretty good. There's no cracks around this 3-inch V-band that I have noticed. There's also no cracks in this joint here. I will be triple checking this, so I don't want this to crack again. Yeah, so the only cracks are here that I pointed out before. So I think that if I re-weld that, you know what I'm saying? Re-weld that, I think it should be Mickey T. So yeah, let's start cleaning these up a little bit. Clean up this part of it. I've got to do the inside. Then I'll clean up the other side. I did a little bit off camera just because the GoPro died. So I charged it up and this is the dump. I managed to, if you can see down there, turn the light on. I managed to line it up okay. Underneath, this is quite hard to film being on jack stands, but it doesn't hit the scale pipe, if I can get there. And there's obviously clearance between the steering linkage. So this is pretty much exactly where it sat last time. Which means if I weld it up, if I can reuse my old exhaust, I would love to weld the crack and try it. You know, people do say that, you know, welding over cracks, they may eventually crack again over time, but I do have plans to eventually change this exhaust, so if it works for the rest of the season, that would be fantastic. I did some closer inspecting on the exhaust, and it just, like I said, had one crack under there and one crack here, and other than that, it didn't get bent. So I should be able to reuse it. I might, obviously bolting everything up differently, I might just have to cut this bracket off which mounts to my bell housing and, you know, put that in the proper position. But other than that, I think I should be able to get away with reusing that. And like I said, this exhaust here was just freshly done recently. It's got a tiny bit of damage, but it's not cracked. And I'm really hoping, maybe again being optimistic, that I can get away with using some older parts. Just so it saves time, because time is super important when I have an event in 3 weeks. I've got the Elite welding set up on the plastic bench. This is just temporary. I'm literally moving houses in a couple of days, so everything is packed up and that's why it's a mess. Got my welder sorted. Like I said, don't worry about the mess. It'll be much more clean when I move into my own shed. I'm going to time lapse it, so let's get cracking. Not going too bad. It's probably a little hot. I can, obviously, you can see it by how grey it is. But I haven't welded stainless in a long time, so I'm trying to figure out my settings again. But yeah, they're not too bad of welds. Probably looks better with the flashlight off. But yeah, a little bit hot, but that's all good. Let's keep welding. I have done one of the welds, full transparency. I am absolutely no boilermaker, no professional welder. I just do it as a hobby, but not too bad. I feel like it got a little cleaner around here, but when I had to fill this gap, got a little hairy. But it'll hold. It's definitely penetrated well enough, I think. Who knows? Expert welders can tell me in the comments. But yeah, let's finish up welding these other cracks. I only have one more crack to weld up, but that is what I'm welding at the moment. I mean, actually, these actually aren't too bad. They came up okay. For someone who really welds here and there, they're not too bad at all. I will be inspecting further for cracks once I've finished welding it, but one more to go. Let's go. Like you never would have known. Don't look at this bottom section. I had to kind of collect them all into one big clump, but don't worry about that. It's actually, gosh, like, can't tell looking through the back of the GoPro how it looks on camera, but it looks way worse on camera than what it does in person. But I believe it'll hold. I've welded up the cracks, and I obviously welded a lot further back and penetrated with filler rod, so hopefully it prevents any further cracking. I mean, maybe I should have drilled a small hole and then welded it, but I believe it'll be just fine. There's no cracks on this one either, and I've inspected all the flanges and there was no cracks on either of those. So I think that should be sweet. Let's see how it fits. It fits up good. I tested it from down the bottom. It doesn't hit on the steering linkage or the screamer pipe, and obviously I still have to put some heat wrap on it, but for now I'm going to keep fitting up the rest of the exhaust. You can see my welds there aren't too bad. Let's jump under and try and fit the rest of the exhaust. Before that, I am going to quickly just jump on the Y wheel and clean up that before I re-weld it, and did another crack underneath that. So yeah, I'll quickly re-weld this, clean it up, and then I'll jump under and put it on. So I welded up most of the cracks. I'm probably just brought it outside to let it cool off. Didn't go too bad. There's a couple little cracks there I found late. And obviously this was the biggest one that was snapped. Oh shit. But yeah, that was the biggest gap I had to weld there. But it came out alright. So hopefully that all holds. Like I said, I'll mount it a hell of a lot better probably now. So let's let this cool off, and then we'll go ahead and bang on the car. The dump is back on, and the mid section is on. I've got clearance between there. I haven't heat wrapped it yet because I just want to make sure everything lines up first before I have to re-weld anything. I did have to cut the middle bracket that kind of bolts into the gearbox to support the dump off, just because it was bent as hell. But if I quickly jump under, oh, as you can see, the exhaust is back on. It's sitting in its original position, which is lovely, nice and tucked up. It is on that mount there, which is great. So now I'm gonna see how I go mounting the rear section. If that all lines up, I'll just give it a start. We have a whole exhaust on the car. Now, this is a freaking disgustingly slapped together MIG weld job that I did for that. But As you can see, it's all on underneath again. I'm happy. I know this will clear the bumper. I've had it on before. Now all I have to do is just fix this mount right here. So where it mounts to the gearbox, right on the dump, obviously it got bent, so I just cut it in half. And now I'm just going to get a bit of rod that I have connected to weld that. If anyone's wondering what this is, I have another section just to put it at internally gated, just for certain events if I need to. It probably will not line up anymore, but whatever. Gone ahead and marked out what I need. Now obviously this is mild steel and my exhaust is stainless steel, but just for the mount it should be fine. So let's go ahead and cut that. Boom. I did say at the start of the video that I was moving, that's why there was so much mess. So here we are in the new shed. There is still a lot of things on the side that need storage, so got to get some shelves and whatnot, but we are working on the car to get it prepared for round 2 of the Drifting State Series. So let's cut back to where we are with the exhaust. As I stated at the very end, I just had to weld the bracket and measure and cut it, so that's all welded up and done. So this does fully mount now. I did test this before I left and moved. The dump also fit well. It did in the other video that I've recorded, but right now we're going to take this off and we're going to heat wrap it. I've got this stuff from Super Cheap Auto and I have no idea if it's actually any good, but I was at a time crunch, so it's going to have to work. Took the dump off. I'm just going to time lapse this. I have not heat wrapped the exhaust since I literally built the car, so just give it a crack. All the heat wrapping is done. You have to try and keep it as tight as possible, so that's what I've attempted to do. Obviously there's a little gap either side of the O2 bung, and this part I accidentally folded and didn't realise until I got to the end. So yep, I metal zip tie, that'll sort it. But if you haven't worked with this stuff before, if you get that on your skin, it is literally the itchiest stuff in the world. It's so damn itchy, so yeah, whenever you do, use gloves. It's fiberglass infused, it's so bloody itchy. Let's bang that on, bang the rest of the exhaust on, and we should get some start videos. The exhaust is back on, car is running again. It's a bit late, so I don't want to rev it too much. Pretty happy with that.